This week, Kanye West held a listening party in Chicago for his latest musical release named Donda, which is named after his late mother. Kanye had a life-size replica of his childhood home as the centerpiece of the show. However, the music was overshadowed by the distasteful use of Manson appearing on stage for no apparent reason. Manson joins West on the refrain, "I guess I'm going to jail tonight," and when I heard this, I was in absolute shock. I immediately thought of all the survivors of Manson / Brian Warner and how they must feel seeing their abuser propped up on this global pedestal like some sort of cancel culture casualty. This went viral online and Manson's name was even trending on Twitter at the time, and Evan Rachel Wood even posted a screenshot to her Instagram, reposting a screenshot of an article that she had read about the event, explaining that it triggered her greatly to see this trending online. I feel like the independent.co.uk said it best when they said, "West is evidently surrounded by a team of people who are too scared or too exhausted to say no, but it speaks volumes of society's apathy towards R-word survivors that Universal would release this album with Manson on it. Donda's dragged-out release has often felt as though West was deliberately testing them, along with his fans, critics, and his label. How far can he go before we snap? For me, his Manson stunt, if you can call it that, is it. West has aligned himself with a man whom at least 15 women have accused of R-word, sexual assault, grooming, assault, torture, physical and psychological abuse. He stood on his late mother's porch with Manson, sang with him, openly mocking those women who were brave enough to come forward. Critics often have to remind themselves to review the music and not to get caught up in the hyperbole or controversy surrounding the artist. But by involving Manson, West has made this impossible. This got me thinking about Manson and his unusual creative collaborations over the years, and some information from people that he's worked with behind the scenes and some experiences people have had with him. Some of the people in this video will be famous and some will not. This video will just include some miscellaneous clips and information that I've come across over my time researching Marilyn Manson. Believe me, there's a lot more where this came from, just some of it is so all over the place that I'm not exactly sure how to compile it. But I felt like I would do a video about some music industry people that he's worked with and just some curious incidents that I feel deserve mentioning and deserve awareness and attention. And some of this information is sensitive and upsetting, so just a brief trigger warning going forward in this video that some of the information that I'm about to share is disturbing and includes depictions and descriptions of R-word and assault. One of the most truly bizarre things that I've come across that I haven't seen many people mention is the video that was directed by Eli Roth called STURMGRUPPE, which is basically a video that Manson, Eli Roth, and Lana Del Rey all collaborated on. And this video is so violent and disturbing that it has never been released fully, and I'm sure the other parts of this video that are unreleased are disturbing because the bits that are released are disturbing. And it basically depicts Lana Del Rey being held down and R-worded in the video while wearing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre t-shirt. Manson has claimed that he was never going to use this as a music video, but I find that very odd because a lot of the clips that were cut out of this particular video made it into the finished video for Manson's No Reflection video, and I don't really understand how he can say he never intended to use any of it or he wasn't really going to do anything with it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. In his interview video, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, he basically mentioned that the whole thing was a camera test between him, Eli Roth, and Lana Del Rey. But what was it a camera test for? Clearly you had a project in mind. So what was the camera test for? Like, why can nobody give a definitive answer on this?
Would you ever consider a project with Marilyn Manson?
Yes, actually. I shot a video with Marilyn Manson and Lana Del Rey, and the footage is
a great guy.
Marilyn Manson is the best. He's one of my favorite people. The footage is so sick, it's been locked in a vault for over a year. But Manson is a friend. Actually, Manson came to my Passover Seder.
I didn't deny involvement in it. I just simply said it was not meant to be a Marilyn Manson video. And the editor of the company that was working, that put it out, was someone who's edited my videos. That video was something that was done with a camera that Eli, who's my friend, and I both wanted to test out. So I let him test it out, and because I was quite bored and annoyed with the whole situation before it happened, what they filmed, that was put in context, seeming as if it were a Marilyn Manson video. Wasn't in no way an intention. Eli and I wanted to do a music video with her, but she was being such a problem for me, personally, although I still respect her and think I'm friends with her, that I just left. I was tired. And I let him test the camera out. And
sorry, when you say she, was it Lana? Is that?
Yeah, you know, I was just not willing to want to make that part of my video. But Eli and I originally had intentions of making a video, but that is not the intention that is represented in that film clip, because that was not what I filmed. That was not for my video. It was nothing but the people who put it together with my other clips. I would not make a video of that nature because I think it's not, nor would Eli. Maybe he would, but I don't think either one of us were intending for that to be ever seen even. It was just more of a camera test. You know, I consider her to be a friend. Eli's a really good friend of mine, and I think that this was a grand mistake.
Representatives for Marilyn Manson tell Pitchfork Manson did not direct this, shoot this, nor was it for a Marilyn Manson video or outtake footage made by him or to be used by him with his music, said Manson's representative Catherine Fraser. It must be a fan splicing up old Manson video footage with someone else's Lana Del Rey footage. Gawker notes that the non-Lana Del Rey footage is a part of his 2013 video for No Reflection. I mean, there is just so many inconsistencies with this, I don't even know where to begin. But this is actually not the last time that Manson mentions Lana Del Rey or has a problem with Lana Del Rey, as you will see in the next clip. This year in 2021, a woman named Annie Abrams, who used to work for Manson, recently spoke out about the abuse that she suffered at the hands of Manson. And she also revealed screenshots of text messages between her and Marilyn Manson in which he body shames Lana Del Rey. The messages show Manson sending a picture to Annie of Lana Del Rey with the words, "No comment." When asked who the image was of, Manson appears to call the singer Lasagna Del Rey. That's right, he's 14 years old. He goes on to say, not body shaming or whatever, but that pic is effing crazy. To be honest, I find this incredibly ignorant and rude, and I also find it ridiculously ironic considering he's not exactly slim himself. Like, relax, pal. Marilyn Manson and Courtney Love have had a strange and tumultuous relationship over the years. And in the 90s, they often made jabs at each other in interviews and on stage, and Manson often made reference to the fact that he believed that Courtney Love was mad that he wouldn't sleep with her. Courtney Love's band Hole co-headlined and toured with Marilyn Manson on the Beautiful Monsters tour in 1999. And Courtney and Manson had a clash of the egos on the tour, and it really didn't last very long. But nowadays the two seem to be really friendly and on good terms, and Courtney even cited Marilyn Manson as being someone who helped her leave a toxic situation and get clean from drugs. In this next clip, I'm going to show you a radio interview that Courtney Love did where she basically mentions in plain English that she has witnessed Manson groom young fans. And I find this highly ironic because for those of you who don't know, Courtney Love is the lead singer of a feminist band called Hole. They came up in the 90s Riot Girl era of music, which was a feminist music movement. And she sings a lot about female empowerment and about abuse, and I find it really, really ironic that a woman who has made a living out of these topics supports someone who she has personally witnessed mistreat women. And not just that, but young, vulnerable fans.
Here we go, 99X, hi, you're on with Courtney.
Hey, Courtney, I love you and your music and Hole.
Thank you.
And a couple years ago, I bought a ticket just to see you with Marilyn Manson.
Ooh.
And I went to the show and you weren't there.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering what happened there and when are you going to make it back around next time?
Well, we did get forced to open for them by Interscope, and we'd just been to Australia with them, and it's good when I'm the queen because it was us, and then porn, and then Manson, and everything was fine. And what I really don't like is if there's girls, or certain girls that like us or like me, who are really messed up, and that's really cool, because I know what that feels like. And they do not need to be, and they're very young, and they do not need to be taken and raped or have filmed having enema contests, or if there's a groupie, I'm so not a prude, and you know, 9 Inch Nails called me a prude.
I think that's definitely on record.
But yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But there were some things going on that just weren't cool.
There were things going on that weren't cool, yeah. If the chicks are there and they're back, listen, I've made out with Playboy bunnies, you know, it's hot, you know, woo!
Really?
You know, sure, I'm a rock star, what do you, like, it happens. I mean, I'm straight, but, you know, people's birthdays or whatever, and so, you didn't even get that joke. Okay, so,
Yeah.
But going out into the audience and picking up 14 and 15-year-old girls and who obviously cut themselves or are messed up, and then having to see them in the morning and deal with them and take them home or give them air, it's just uncool, and that's that.
Okay.
So the point being, Leslie,
Yeah.
I need to sort of be, they need to be opening for me, because then I'm the boss and then everything's fine. That's a big, decadent, nasty-ass time, but nobody gets hurt.
Can we go back to the making
Or
out
raped in
Playboy
the
bunnies?
pit.
Can we go
As someone who is a huge fan of Hole's music, I mean, they're one of my favourite bands, I was so disappointed when I came across this clip, because Courtney knows that Manson has mistreated women. She's seen it with her own eyes, yet she's continuing to support this man because she considers him a friend now. And Courtney Love was one of the first people to call out Harvey Weinstein years before anybody ever came out about him. So I just don't understand how she is still not referencing this in any way, especially when she herself has publicly said that she's witnessed him mistreat young female fans.
Hi, Comic Central. Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood? I'll get lively with us. Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party in the Four Seasons downtown.
In 2001, Manson recorded the music video for Tainted Love, which is arguably his most popular music video in mainstream culture, and also was a part of the soundtrack for the Not Another Teen Movie film. Thanks to the Instagram account Manson is Abusive, I came across some behind the scenes footage of this that I thought was quite noteworthy, just because of the inappropriate and disturbing way Manson speaks about women and girls in this video.
I just wanted to play around with stuff that we see every day on MTV and turn that into my own thing, and also have naked girls and exploit them. So what they're shooting right now is me entering the party, the kitchen, I guess, and people's reactions to it. Some dirty blonde trying to give me the eye. I want to work in like an infant scene where I'm breastfeeding with my grill. Really need to explain what's going to happen here? It's not good, I'll tell you that much. Do I really need to explain what's going to happen here? I think it's pretty obvious. Now, just for the record, this was my dirty idea.
Just for the record, the pink room, this is Manson's idea.
The thing that I found is very effective is when you get them in their bras, you get them to jump up and down on the bed. Then you really get the full effect. I met a girl on tour a long time ago and got me to come back to her house. And her parents were sleeping and stuff. And I remember she had her bed was covered in stuffed animals. And by this dirty person that, as myself, was doing really bad things to her. The animals were scattering here and there. I thought it kind of went against God and nature, and I was proud of myself for that, so I just wanted to recreate that for the kids at home.
I wanted to include this next clip because I thought it was interesting to show how Manson speaks about a long-term partner of his. And at the time he was dating Dita for at least 3 years, and he just speaks about her in such a derogatory way, as if she's an inanimate object or something. And I also found it very disturbing how Tom Green, the interviewer in this clip, mentions that Manson offered up Dita's body to him before the interview, and it's just played off as this big joke, when really I find it quite disturbing and sinister.
How do you guys meet?
I kind of stalked her. I pretended that I wanted her in a video. I saw her around LA a lot of times. And I took her on my first date
in Portland, Oregon, to a place called the Acropolis Steakhouse.
Cool. So now, you asked me before the show if I wanted to see your girlfriend's breasts.
I didn't.
You did?
It's always offering him up to everyone.
He did. He said that. Did he say that to everyone?
He does it to everybody.
Really?
Yeah. And when he wants to thank someone, he'll say, "Here, show me your breasts."
Do you like that when he says that? Or?
Well, you know, it's been
It makes
3 years
people
of
happy.
that.
I mean, I like when you say that.
Everyone is happy when they see naked women.
I'm going to end this video with some podcast footage featuring Dan Cleary, who was Marilyn Manson's former assistant. And in this podcast on Rare Form Radio, he speaks about his time working with Manson around the time that Manson dated Evan Rachel Wood. And Dan offers legitimacy to Evan's claims, and I really feel like he's very brave for coming forward and giving this context, because I imagine it wasn't easy to speak openly about this. But I feel like it's a very, very important piece of footage, so I'm going to leave a link down below if you guys want to watch the full podcast.
All right. Okay. I'll sum it up. So most people that listen to the show know that I worked for Marilyn Manson starting in 2007 for about a year, and then left or just stopped working for him in 2008. And then I went back to work for him as a personal assistant in 2014 and 2015. And in September of 2020, I saw that someone drew attention to some girl who made a claim about, Manson being really over the line creepy and abusive. And something had happened to me that week with a family member. And so my sensitivities to that kind of stuff were very, very heightened. And I saw this girl having the bravery to come forward and make a claim about someone as famous and powerful as he is. And I'm looking in the comments of her post, and it's all people calling her a liar and a cunt and a bitch and a gold digger and an attention whore and a star fucker. And it made me furious. And I didn't think, I didn't plan, I did like a stream of consciousness Twitter thread about things that I had seen in all my years with Manson. And to sum it up, in 2007, it was my first ever real world tour. It was the Marilyn Manson, the Rape of the World tour. And he was with Evan Rachel Wood at that time. That was his girlfriend. I think she was 19 for that tour. And I didn't have a ton of access to Manson then. I didn't have a ton of access to Evan. But at the beginning of the tour, she was very sweet. Every day she would come to the stage for a sound check or the show, and her and I would exchange Anchorman lines. Like Anchorman had just come out, and so we sort of bonded over Anchorman. And she was very kind. I did not know her well. Like back then, Manson and his world was a bit secluded from the crew. But people that worked on the tour that were closer to him would sort of let the rest of the crew kind of in on some secrets and talk about private stuff that was going on. And I was very, very new to touring then. So all I knew was like, okay, just, keep things to yourself and mind your business and do your job. And in my Twitter thread from September, I said that I noticed that she changed a lot over the course of the year, and her demeanor changed, her physical looks changed. She got skinnier. Her whole aura just became darker. And pairing that with what I heard was going on was like, okay, so there's weird shit going on, and she's kind of being mistreated. And I didn't think of it for a long time. I was 27 and again trying to mind my own business, and that's kind of, we're taught that in life, first of all, to kind of mind your business, don't get involved. So I did, and didn't think much of it. And then I started working for him as a personal assistant in 2014, 2015. And I saw firsthand the way he treated his then girlfriend and now wife. And I was there for it firsthand. I saw some physical abuse as far as like pushing and throwing things at her, and a lot of like violent outbursts around her, breaking things, and a lot of like mental abuse and name calling and threats. And I'm his assistant. I don't know what to really do. There were times when I was alone with her when I would try to like sort of comfort her, because there were times when Manson would tell her that he's going to kill her and cut her up, and that I'm going to bury her in the desert, me. And so he would leave the room, and I'd be like, I'm not, you're going to be fine. I'm not going to do any of that. I didn't say anything for, 5 years, because again, there's this code in music of kind of mind your own business. And I regret it very much. I spoke to his manager about it, but the manager seemed to know all that and didn't really care a lot. Everyone in his world knew what was up, and no one seemed to be concerned very much. So I came forward in September just to support this girl that I didn't know. But the things that she claimed are exactly what I have seen him do with his girlfriend and other people, is all I'll say. So then, last Sunday night, Evan Rachel Wood and I think 3 or 4 other women all came forward at the exact same moment and named him for the first time. Brian Warner is our abuser. This is what he did to us. And all of it is exactly stuff that I had seen or heard about